Hi guys, welcome to the national banking system of our worker nations. And as you guys know that in general, inflation is bad in some contexts, good in others, but one thing for sure that banks create a lot of it. Banks create money during the normal businesses of accepting deposits and making loans. When banks make loans, they create money. That currency, we call it M1, which is referring to the coin, the bills, and the checkable deposits. For example, when I got a loan for my boat, the bank called me up and then said that they deposited the loan in my checking account. This new deposit is the new money created by the bank. Bankers literally just turn on their computers, log into their accounts, and change the amount that I had. They created money. However, bank can only take from the excess reserves, which is the money is left over in an account after the required reserves. Say that if you deposit $100 into your account, and the amount of required reserve depends on the reserve requirement ratio. Let's say that if it's a 20%, and if you take 100 times that ratio is 0.2, you get $20. That amount of money is the bank required to hold on after the deposits. If you take the $100, subtract for 20 is $80. That's excess reserves. Is the amount of leftover, and the banks can use that to invest in property, for bonds, and for loans. You can also work this backward with this to find the reserve requirement ratio by taking the amount of required reserve divide for the demand deposits. That's how you find the reserve requirement ratios. An easy way to set this up is through the T account, and we have our excess and liabilities. Excess is what the bank owns. This can include cash in the vault, deposit at the Fed, loans made to customer, and government security. In summary, you can say those are required reserve and excess reserves. And liabilities is when the liability is what the banks owe. Loans borrowed by the banks from the Fed and other banks are checking deposit of customer. In summary, we can say this is the demand deposits. And then one more last concept I want to go through is the federal fund rate. Is referring to the interest rate that the banks charge other banks for lending them money from the reserve balances on overnight. Welcome back. What may be going through your head right now is exactly how much these banks can create, and if it's not, it's definitely going through the college ball. So let's go back to your $100 deposits. Let's say that you deposited this into your bank A, and the total amount of bank A can create is total amount of excess reserve, which is $80. And so in reality, it's not just bank A that's going to be creating money. It's actually the entire banking system. So how much can the entire banking system create? We need to find a monetary multiplier. Is the number that shows how many times the money will get reused by taking 1 over the reserve requirement ratio times the excess reserves, equal to 1 over 0.2 times $80 is equal to $400. And sometimes the college board will want us to get more specific about the total change to the demand deposits. And to find that, we need to find we taking the monetary multiplier we found earlier, multiply with the demand deposits, which is 5 times $100 is $500. And this isn't exactly true though, because people are not always want to put every penny into their checking account, and banks are not always going to fully loan out their resources, which that decrease the amount of money that banks can create.
So what happened to M1? M1 is money available on hand and is the most liquid form of currency. For example, if I put money into my checking account or kept money on hand, my M1 would increase. But if I decided to put money into my savings account, M1 would decrease because the currency would not be able to be converted into physical money as easily.